Hey there, I'm Cahlen Lee, the modern day wizard, and on this episode of The Wizard Life, I'm going to be showing you how I keep the yurt warm in the middle of winter. So those of you who have seen some of the older episodes know that last winter I lived in a Mongolian ger, and I had a wood stove in there, and so that's how I kept warm. This year I didn't have a wood stove, so I needed to get creative, and so I just looked around and started using things that I had. So I had this full body vibration plate, basically kind of an expensive device. It's a little silly to be using it in this way, but I didn't have enough electricity from solar to be running this thing, so I used it for something else. If you were gonna do something like this, really all you need is something that you can put on the ground, which the stove can sit on, which can stand getting warm without damaging. Then I had this outdoor propane stove, which I was using to cook, and I just brought it in here and placed it on top, hooked it up to this 20-pound propane tank, and I basically just turn it on. And when I put these on top of it, and this is called a fire brick, I put this on top, a bunch of them on top, and the flame heats these up to be really hot, and they hold the heat for a long time, and it starts to radiate pretty intensely. So this is pretty much the key, and these aren't that expensive either. So let me just show you what it looks like when I've got those placed on there, and I'll show you how you get the stove going. So this is the arrangement that I like to use. You've got these kind of vertical walls all around the burner, which traps the heat in if you block the top. And then I leave this little part open right here so that heat is coming out, but just in this one spot, so it kind of concentrates here. And then, let's see, I put this stove fan on here right behind the hole so that it blows that hot air into the room as it's coming up. Next step is to light it, and to do that I use this fancy flashlight that I have. So it's just a flashlight, but it's also a lighter, and it uses electricity to light. So you can see it makes a little arc of electricity there, and that'll light propane, and it'll also light paper if it's really flammable and that type of thing. This thing recharges from USB, so anything that gives USB power, I have a light and I have a lighter. So here we go. Just turn on the gas until I hear it. I can hear it. Now I'm going to get the lighter in there. And I have the stove going. So now I'm just going to let this go, and it takes a while to actually heat up these bricks. I'd say 20 to 30 minutes. And once it's going, this fan is going to turn on because it has something called I think it's called like a Peltier chip or something like that. Basically it takes heat and turns it into electricity, and that spins this fan. So I don't need to plug this fan into anything. There's no battery on it. It just runs because there's heat. So it's about 30 minutes later, and the fan is going full speed, and it's about 25 degrees hotter in here. On the camera it looks like the fan's actually spinning slower than it really is. It's actually going way faster than that. So I'm just going to wait a little bit longer and see just how hot I can get it in here. So you can see the middle number is the temperature outside, and it's just a little bit below freezing, so below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And the number above it is the temperature inside, and that's 40 degrees higher, and it's quite comfortable. So 70 degrees inside while it's below freezing outside. It's pretty awesome, and I can be in here without any clothes on and be totally comfortable. So I think a large reason why that's possible is because of the aluminum foil insulation wrap that I have around the inside of the yurt, because it's basically reflecting the infrared energy inside the space and not allowing it to escape. So a couple of things that you should know if you're going to be using propane is that when it combusts, it creates CO2 and it creates water. So the CO2 is totally fine. You can breathe CO2. In fact, when you breathe out, you're breathing out CO2. But if the oxygen levels in your space get low enough, it doesn't have enough oxygen to make CO2, so it makes CO1, which is carbon monoxide. Now that's poisonous, and if you breathe enough of that, you're actually going to die. So make sure you have places where air is able to keep coming into your space, and make sure you also have something like a carbon monoxide detector, which will go off like a fire alarm if the carbon monoxide gets too high. Another thing that to worry about is the water which is being given off during combustion, because it'll put humidity into the air, and like at certain points I actually had water basically dripping down the walls. So all I had to do to fix that problem was to tilt the dome of the Yurt's roof just a little bit, and no more humidity. So one of the nicest things about using this propane, well, first, it's super convenient. Like, I don't have to chop firewood, I don't have to haul it around. I just turn the knob and light it and wait. And it's also way cheaper. Firewood, if you're going to buy it, can be pretty expensive. And propane, I just run down to the grocery store and buy a filled tank for about 20 bucks. And I actually found it's quite a bit cheaper if I just take an empty tank to a place which will refill the tank for me. And I think that's closer to like 15. So a single tank during the fall lasts me about 2 weeks. And during the winter, when it's freezing, will last me about 1 week. So worst case scenario, one tank a week, $15 each, is about 60 bucks a month to heat this space to 70 degrees. So pretty awesome. All the places I've ever lived before, the heating bill was way more than that. All right, well, thanks for watching and learning about how I heat the Yurt. And I hope I'll see you again next time on The Wizard Life. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to support what I do, please consider liking and sharing this video, engaging with me in the comments below, and subscribing to see future episodes. That helps me out way more than you probably think it does. If you're looking to go above and beyond, there are other ways you can help me. One of my wizardly duties is accompanying and supporting others on their hero's journey. I am a certified human potential coach and work with people live one-on-one over the phone or internet. If you'd like a free 1-hour session to see what coaching is all about, then head on over to thewizard.coach and get in touch with me. If you'd like to learn more about the items that I use on a daily basis and feature on The Wizard Life, you can visit thewizard.store for a list broken down by category. And if you decide to purchase anything on that site, please consider using the links I provide there, as I get a small commission which supports me financially. To see more videos in the Wizard Life series, head on over to thewizard.life. See you next time.